seems like this is a good title. There. Yeah, done. Anyone can watch this, really. After I save this. You gonna update? Go ahead and update. Still saying unlisted. You gonna update? There we go, public. Now we're public. Now some people should probably get some notifications going, I hope. Hopefully so. I'll hang out right here for a second in the hallway. I didn't stream from here last night because I didn't show any of the upstairs last evening. I streamed from downstairs at my table, where I've done quite a few streams from, actually. History of this channel. Just waiting to see if anyone decides to pop in on the Exit Sandman stream. It's called Exit Sandman. Exit Sandman, because I'm done sanding! Oh, what a relief. Woo! See all those tools over there? The wreckage. This guy was the final piece of the puzzle tonight. Went around with the old 100 grit just to give everything a nice once over. But it was not what the brunt of the work was done with. This was just the cosmetic guy. The guy to make everything nice and smooth. Leave everything feeling silky smooth. You know what was a son of a bitch? Was using this. That one right there. Oh boy. Oh boy, that guy gave me a time today. That was what I had to use to do the... Obviously I didn't do it out here because this is all being covered with carpet. But this one is what I had to use to go around all of the edges in every room. You have to get down on your hands and knees and just grind that thing and get the damn paint. Ugh. Very glad to be finished with that. Very, very glad to be finished sanding altogether. I'm done sanding for a while. I hope. Unless someone wants to pay me like $30,000. If someone wanted me to do this to their home, how much would I have to get paid? If they said, I'll give you... Would I do it for $10,000? I'll give you $10,000 to refinish 4 rooms in my home. I don't think you could get that done for $10,000. Some painters were going to charge us $6,000 just to paint our downstairs. This is way harder than painting. I think if I were to do this for someone else, I'm going to give... What are you going to go with? 8, 6... Yeah, I'm going to quote you $8,000 a room. That's what I would probably want. So, for the job I did, 8, 16, 20. Yeah. Well, 2 of the rooms are kind of big. 2 of the rooms are a little bigger than the other ones. So I might say 25. Yeah, I'll do it for 25. I might be like, normally I'd charge you $10,000 per room. I'm going to give you a little discount since you're getting 4 done. I'll do it for $25,000. If anyone wants me to come and refinish their hardwood floors, they're 120-year-old hardwood floors like mine. My starting price is $10,000 per room for a standard size room. So no one's jumping in. I'm just going to show you. I just want to document what I've gotten done here. So there we go. Hey, Obi-Wan's here. There it goes. Finally, the little icon has appeared to say that I have one person in here. So I'm finished sanding Obi-Wan. I finished sanding just about an hour ago, and I'm just going through and putting on film each room in its fully sanded state. You know, it's still pretty dusty up here. I don't want to stay up here for too long because I don't have a mask on or anything. It's very dusty. But I mean, I had to get back in here. This was a hellion. All these closets are like this too. I mean, so that was a real pain in the ass. Let me tell you what. Yes, I'm going to stain them tomorrow. But before I can stain, tomorrow I've got to come in and I will have to... I'll have to wipe everything down really well. You know, probably sweep with the broom, and then I'll sweep with the shop vac, and then I'll get my rags out, and I will wipe everything from top to bottom. In here. I mean, I feel like a lot of people might have been like, who's going to look in the closet? You know? I didn't say that. I thought about it. The thought crossed my mind, because getting back in here, that's not fun. None of this is really all that fun, but you have a good feeling of accomplishment when you get it all wrapped up at the end. And there's still work to do, but I mean, the hard stuff's over. So, there we go. There we are. Another closet. I should turn the lights off as I go, because I'm not going to need to be out here any mores tonight. I'm calling it a night somewhat early. I thought about trying to get into the cleaning process, but I was like, you know what? I put my damn work in for today. We're good. We're all good here. Last room to show, my office. What was my office anyhow. I don't know if it will be when we put things back, because now we've got all these options. It's like if we want to, we can kind of move some things around. I don't know if we're going to do that, but there you go. See, that one's deep. It was like it was like a hellscape to be down there, you know, with the sander. And I had my goggles on, and it's like, as you're sanding back here, there's just like dust and debris and like shrapnel flying around. And I had the thought, you know, because I'm crouched down inside of it, and I was like, that would just be terrifying if this door were to slam shut, and then I couldn't get out, and I was trapped in there with like all of this horrible dust and debris. Like in a Saw movie, only the guy goes around to houses where people are doing home renovation projects and finds strange and inventive ways to torture them. Don't do that to people. That's not nice. Let people work on their home projects. They're like me. They're trying to make their house nice. It's not a good target. Don't do that to people. You didn't disturb the neighborhood peace with your sanding. Maybe a little bit, but not too far into the night. Like I said, I wrapped up around midnight. So even if I kept someone awake for a little bit, like they've got the whole night ahead of them still. They'll be fine. They'll be okay. No big deal. All right, we're done upstairs. Still very dusty. I'm thinking about the fact that I don't have I don't have any Gatorade to drink, and I really, really would like some right now. But I ain't got none, you see? There's my new Coke over there. That's actually, well, one of them is open. That one is open. That's one that I had. And then the other one is the replacement can. They actually sent me a replacement can, thanks to the Coke Twitter account. Thank you, Coke, for being responsive. Oh, you said, Obi-Wan said, nice cat. There's my dog, Warrior. Hey, Schlorier. Hi, Schlorier. He's a spaz. This dog's a spaz. If someone happens to exist across the street in that parking lot, he just goes insane. He hates the fact that other people live in the world. Someone's going to work over there, parking in that lot. Oh, you would think that Michael Myers is walking up to the door. He just has no chill. And then, where'd my cat go? He was in the background for a second, but, there he is. Henderson. Henderson. Hey, Henderson. Henderson. Here he comes. That's Mr. Henderson. Has he ever been on a stream before? Hi, Henderson. Hello. Hi, cat. Now, Warrior's going to want pets. I'm thinking about walking over to get a Gatorade. I'll look like a real asshole walking down the street with this phone. But I really would like something to drink. I've been pounding waters all day, you see, but I think a nice refreshing Gatorade would be fantastic right now. I just don't know if I should do it. Let me step outside and I'll decide. Out into the peaceful evening. Oh, feels good out here. That's good. Obi-Wan's telling me to get the Gator. Go for the Gatorade. Risk looking like a douchebag. Super Divorce gets Gatorade. That's a new segment. There we go. Alright, I guess I'll walk on over to the... I'll walk on over there. At the risk of looking like a complete dick. Get to see a little bit of my neighborhood. Oh, there's some guys riding bikes. Hope I don't get beat up. What is that? What the crap? How'd that even happen? Have you ever been... Now I'm afraid. Have you ever been hit by a... Look, I was walking right here, and then my leg was just savaged by a big spider web. That was really weird. Okay, here we go. Heading over to the local speedway. Obi-Wan says, I'm going to be looking like a douchebag all the time on my holiday. I even bought a mini tripod to carry my phone around in. Well, that's okay. I mean, you'll probably look professional. Hey, do you want to see the memorial over here? There's a memorial across the street from my home. Obi-Wan's walked into plenty of spider webs in the bush, especially not for you. With some of the insane spiders that exist in your country, Oh, did you see that rabbit? We just saw a rabbit take off across the way there. Here's a nice memorial across the street from my house. Sometimes I will walk over here and pause and reflect. I like to do that from time to time. Think about the service members that I've had in my family. So, alright, let's continue on to the damn Speedway. Obi-Wan, what's your big gas station chain over there? Do you guys have several? Like a competing group of gas stations? I would say Speedway and BP are the big ones around here. Right in this little area. Speedway, BP, UDF, that's a good one. A new UDF just opened up down the road, actually. So, it's a little further than the Speedway. A little further than I'd like to walk this evening. Obi-Wan says they've got Shell, BP, and Caltex. I've never heard of Caltex, and I've never heard of Puma. I've got some Puma tennis shoes, but I've never heard of Puma the gas station. Just a nice evening. Sounds of nature as we walk along. So I'm guessing the weather for y'all in Australia is a bit different than it is here. Are you guys, are you in your, is it winter for you right now? Is that how that works? It's a pretty house. Crunch, 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 crunch. I'm trying to think if I heard any good news today. I haven't been able to check any like pop culture stuff because I've just been doing all this housework. So I'm a little out of the loop if anything big's happened the past couple days. What's going on? I did see a kind of disconcerting bit of news regarding U.S. politics. Some people had shown up at Mitch McConnell, outside of Mitch McConnell's house, and they were chanting things, and someone was on film on YouTube saying that they hoped that one of these rabble-rousers would just go ahead and stab the guy in the heart. Looks like you can't do that. You can't go and stab politicians in the heart because you don't like them. That's why we have votes, guys. That's why we have to use our words. So many people have forgotten how to use their words, you know. It's really a problem. Obi-Wan said the worst of winter is past now, and they're still due in the morning. That's about as bad as it gets. Well, that's good. There's my shadow right there. Shadow stream. And then, I guess this would be some pop culture news. Obi-Wan said Taika Waititi. His name rubs me the wrong way. I don't like saying it. It sounds maybe it's because it's coupled with what I know about him, but it just brings to mind a great deal of pretentious, like a pretentious air. Anyway, what happened here? Taika Waititi started being a bit cheeky / disrespectful to the fans on Twitter, and that got people riled up. But Obi-Wan finds it hard to dislike him. Oh, I did see something about him. Didn't he say that he didn't mind completely trashing the lore of Thor? And someone had said a similar thing about Black Widow. Whoever's making the Black Widow movie said they really didn't mind sort of ignoring all of the canon stuff that Black Widow has accumulated over the years. Which is kind of arrogant, isn't it? You'd think if you're given this opportunity to increase your own lot, to advance your own position in life, using a property that you didn't come up with, something that's been in existence for a long time, you'd think you'd be a little, respectful. You'd be showing some gratitude, being humble. But that's not really in style these days, is it? Everyone wants to act like stuff that was kind of passed off to them, stuff that was previously established by fans and creators, over the course of the past 50 to 100 years. They just want to ignore all that. They're like, well, I don't care about those people. They're none of my concern. This is mine now. I'm going to do whatever I want with it. If you don't like it, then kiss off. That's what they say. Oh yeah, okay. I remember seeing that quote now. Taika Waititi said, "I'll destroy your mythos in a second, sucker." Yeah. See, I just don't understand why you would do that. It's like, can you really think about it for a minute? Can you imagine Steven Spielberg coming out and saying something like that? It just it lacks a professionalism. This new generation of creators in general, in the mainstream, it's just they have this kind of you can just sense this resentment towards the fans, and it doesn't make any sense to me. It's you need those people. They want to like your movies. They want you to make good things. Usually all you have to do is just acknowledge the past a bit, treat it with respect, and infuse it with your own ideas. Make it interesting, but don't make the characters a mouthpiece for your personal politics and such. People don't like that. Obi-Wan says he hopes no one that I know is involved in the Dayton shootings. No, I was thinking about that. I thought about mentioning it the other day, but I didn't want to be like, hey, that thing that happened, well, I live close by. No. But since you mentioned it, yeah, it's awful. It was awful. I played many shows in downtown Dayton, right across the street from where the shooting took place. And Jess and I actually lived one street over from the street that happened on. A really nice place down there that we both enjoyed. And we would, walk right over to 5th Street, where that's called the Oregon District, where all the bars are. It's really kind of happening spot. Lots of hipsters hang out there and such. But I mean, that sort of row of bars goes back a long time. And my dad used to play gigs down there in the late 70s and 80s. And still does from time to time. But I mean, just to give you an idea of the history, it's that's where everyone goes in Dayton. So it's really awful to hear about that, but no one that I know personally was, impacted in an immediate way, as far as I know. So that was good. Though I know someone who lives like right upstairs from that bar, Ned Peppers. So like they live like up above it, and so it's crazy. It's a good thing that this person was not down at ground zero. Thankful to hear that. So here we are. We've arrived at Speedway. How's gas right now? 267. What's gas looking like in Australia, Obi-Wan? Do you need a Joule starter? A Joule starter kit? You can save $20 right now. Hold on, I'm gonna have to. Alright, here we go. Good, how are you? Let's see here. What am I going to get? Here's our Gatorade. Here's our selection. Buy one, get one for $1. Obi-Wan says his gas hovers around $1.40 per liter for 91 octane. $1.40 per liter. I'm not sure what that would measure out to. What am I gonna get here? I think I'll go with the larger size. I'll probably get. What am I gonna do? There's Obi-Wan's Powerade down there. Sorry, I'm gonna have to go with Gatorade. I'm gonna get one of these. I'll go ahead and get the Glacier Freeze and get away from me. And then probably an old-fashioned yellow lemon lime. And let's see what else. Maybe an orange and one of these. That should do it for right now. Okay. Here we go. All right. I think I'm all set. All set to go. Grab the old Gatorades. Just,
I'll be right there, hon.
Okay.
I just gotta put this food in the thing here.
No problem. Not in a hurry.
You're not in a hurry off.
Nope. I've done Speedway third shift. I know what it's like.
Well, I got a trainee here. So I'm working a double today. And I'm working a double tomorrow. Getting trained.
Sounds like a good time.
Oh, yeah. Good time. What store did you work at?
I worked out in Monroe for a while, and then the one right across the street from the Dayton Mall, mostly.
Oh.
That was probably about, that was over 10 years ago now.
Yeah, so you work with Scott? Or, Rob?
Geez, I can't even remember the name of the actual store manager.
Oh,
I was an assistant manager.
oh, you was the assistant manager?
Yeah.
Well,
I feel like her name might have been Tess.
if
Yeah.
you worked with Rob, you would remember him because he's unforgettable.
Okay.
He's been at that store 2 years.
Oh, okay.
Because the original store manager that was there went on maternity leave and didn't come back.
Ah.
But yeah, Scott. But Rob, he's unforgettable. Very arrogant.
Oh, okay. That's not good. I guess it can be good sometimes, but
He's
that depends.
he's a good person. He's just arrogant.
Yeah.
Because he's been with the company like 30 years.
Mm-hmm. Oh, go ahead. Give me my.
But he's a good guy.
So, there you go. Thank you.
Yeah, hon.
All right.
Good night.
Appreciate it. Okay, there we go. Oh, there's Jonathan Eaton just joined. What are we watching? Well, I just went to the local Speedway to get some Gatorade. The stream started off with me showing the progress that I had made on my my upstairs hardwood floors that I'm refinishing. And then I got thirsty and I was like, you know, I wish I had Gatorade, but I didn't have any at home. And so I decided to just walk down the street and document the whole thing. Because that's the kind of content that people are clamoring for these days, that they're not getting enough of. So you get the nature sounds, you get the nighttime neighborhood, a nice lovely conversation with the lady at Speedway. I mean, like I said, this is groundbreaking stuff. You're not just going to get this everywhere. Not everyone is doing this. Especially not many people within Comicsgate. If that's what's brought you here, you know, this is the kind of hard-hitting Comicsgate material that no other channels are doing. When I finally officially announce my comic book, I'm going to have so many people that just want to support me because they're like, man, you know, that guy, he takes us on walks. We get to see his town. We get to see him buy Gatorade. What? Jonathan Eaton said the bag she gave you has a small hole in the side. Wow, you're perceptive. Is there really a small hole? I don't see a small hole. But it's double bagged. Maybe you saw a hole in the first bag. You scared me for a second. Now my camera's all blurry. I don't know what's going on here. Can we refocus here? What are you doing, camera? It kind of looks stylish though, doesn't it? There you go. Now we're back. Okay. You know, it reminds me of when I was a kid. Me and my buddy, we would sometimes, when we were really young, probably like, you know, 5th grade or so. So maybe, what would that be, like 11 years old? Around 5th grade. But we'd have sleepovers, you know, and we'd be hanging out. And once the parents had gone to sleep, we would do this thing that we called night patrol. And we thought it was so cool. We would sneak out of the house and we would just do this, like what I'm doing right now. We would just walk the neighborhood at night, at like 1 or 2 in the morning. Not in an attempt to get into mischief or anything. No, I wasn't really that type of kid. It was just cool to be out in the night, and see your neighborhood when everything was like so quiet, so peaceful. And there is something cool about it to this day, I think. To go for a nice walk in the evening. Well, later in the evening. In the wee hours of the night, I should say. Don't want to run into that. That wouldn't be good. Jonathan Eaton says that's a quiet town. Yeah, that's why this is neat. It's very peaceful. It's a peaceful walk. Is your town not this quiet? Jonathan, if you were to go out right now and record your own video, would it be like this? Or is there a little more hustle and bustle going on? I guess the fact that it's a quiet town works out pretty well, because it works out well for me. Because it's not like I'm passing person after person who's making harsh judgments against me and being like, look at that dickhead on his phone at 1:30 in the morning with his little bag of Gatorades. They'd be like, what's this guy up to? Jonathan Eaton says it would be darker. He lives in the county, the country, sorry, not the county. That's what they call jail. Yeah, that wouldn't be good. No, he lives in the country on 10 acres. So that would be peaceful too, but it would be darker. Maybe you could take a flashlight and do like a late night roaming through the fields video. Looking for wildlife, perhaps. We saw a rabbit earlier when I walked over to the memorial across the street from my home. We saw a rabbit go darting across the lawn. But I'm guessing with you being in the country, you might see, I don't know, what would you see out there? Coyotes? Obi-Wan says, remember that in that episode of Super Divorce Gets Beer, are you yeah. Are you vlogging? Yeah, I'd get a lot of that right now if it were daytime. Jonathan Eaton says, I like being out at night. The people are usually nicer and not in a rush like during the daytime. Yeah, well, in the daytime I wouldn't have been able to have that little conversation with the lady at Speedway. She would have been too worried about, taking care of the people behind me. Or making sure that her manager wasn't yelling at her. But now I know and you know that she's had a long day. She's working a double, trying to get someone trained up. I've been there. One of the biggest bummers that I can recall from working at Speedway was that I had to stay and work. What was it? I think I ended up working like 16 hours straight because I'd worked from like 2 to 10, and I was supposed to be off at 10. In this particular instance, normally I work third shift, so it didn't usually matter. But this time, I was off at 10, only I wasn't really off at 10 because the girl who was supposed to cover third that night, she called in like an hour before she was supposed to be there, and she was like, hey, something came up, I can't come to work. And I was like, well, can you come to work, because I've already been here for 8 hours and no one's going to come in right now. So, can you come in? And she's like, no. And I said, okay. And then I worked from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. and then went home. So that was a good time. Always remember that. Always remember, if you call off, chances are you're really sticking it to someone else. Unless you're at like a big box store, you know. If you're working at Walmart and you call off, I mean, that's not going to do much. That's like a gnat landing on an elephant. There's going to be no notice taken of that. But if you work at a place and they're like, you know, just a handful of other employees, and you call off and you force someone to stay there, that's really shitty. That's not a nice thing to do. Jonathan said he's got coyotes, raccoons, opossums, and the occasional fox or skunk, usually at this time of night. Oh. Opossums. I was going to ask real quick, what's the difference? Is there a difference between a possum, just like a regular possum, and an opossum? Usually people just talk about possums. There's where we saw the little rabbit go running. But is there a difference between the opossum and the regular possum? Does anyone know? Obi-Wan says in Australia they wouldn't let you in the servo past 11. They have a little window you have to deal with the person through. Huh. There are some areas where that's the case here. Usually in rough neighborhoods, that will be the case. They'll just have the little window that you have to go to, and they lock the actual door up at, 10 or 11. But yeah, I'm gonna sit right here for a sec. Yeah, Obi-Wan, smash that like button, brother. Obi-Wan says, in response to our possum question, the opossum is a marsupial of the order Didelphimorphia. No, Didelphimorphia. I've never seen that word before. It's making my brain do flips. Didelphimorphia. Is that it? Didelphimorphia. I feel like it's clicked. Endemic to the Americas, the largest order of marsupials in the Western Hemisphere. It comprises 103 or more species in 19 genera. Huh. Okay. Jonathan says the proper spelling is an opossum. It is the same animal, though. Okay. So we've cleared that up. Obi-Wan says that he has liked, just takes some time to get around to the world to me sometimes. Okay. That's fair. I'll accept that. So which one am I going to go with here? I've got the Glacier Freeze, the Lemon Lime, the old standby. That's what I had last night. I've got the Glacier Cherry, which is a fantastic flavor. And then also another kind of old school classic here, just the orange. Jonathan was quick on that. He said blue. The blue is always good. You can't go wrong with a blue Gatorade. I was talking about that last night. Alright, I'll go with the blue then. Jonathan was quick with that. He was on top of it. So, congratulations on picking out my Gatorade for the night. There we go. Okay. Now then. I'll just hold this right here for a sec. There was one stream I think Obi-Wan might have been here for that one, where it was it was a very strange hour. Kind of like this. And a bunch of people showed up at the church right over there. That church right across the way over there. A bunch of people pulled in, and there was like an unusual number of denizens of the church fluttering about, and looked like they might have been going on a trip or something, or returning from one. I can't remember, but it was kind of strange to see so late at night. Or maybe it was just an odd late night church session. That'd be interesting. They should try that sometime. You know, just like a 2:30 a.m. church service one day a week. That's refreshing. After my day of work, that's very, very refreshing. Jonathan Eaton says, I feel lucky now. Too bad it's too late to get a lottery ticket. Is it? I feel like you could at least buy a scratch off right now, couldn't you? Go out and get a scratch off ticket. I think you can buy those whenever you want. Maybe not. I don't know. That could be like a state or a county issue, actually. I'll tell you what's really a bummer. You guys ever accidentally go into a dry county? A dry county? Do you have dry counties in Australia, Obi-Wan? That's probably one I haven't asked before. Like an entire area where they don't sell alcohol. They call it a dry county. And you have to go to like the next county over to buy your drinks. Dry counties do suck. It's awful. Awful, awful, awful. I can't imagine Australia having dry counties, but I could be wrong. They have a lot of very strange things over there. A lot of strange animals. Oh, that's what it was. I heard about a lady who came home, and yeah, I think Ethan Van Sciver had talked about it on one of his streams some days ago, about a lady in Australia who came home and there was a huntsman spider on her ceiling, and its leg span was like 12 inches. It's like, you've got to be kidding me. 12 inches, a full foot. A foot-long spider. No, get out of here. I was amazed when I saw a spider that was like 4 inches across. Somewhat recently. It was huge. I thought that was huge. And it was on my garage door. It scared the gentlemen who were moving a bunch of junk out of my house. The 1-800-GOT-JUNK people. You know, came to take away like some old furniture we didn't want and other assorted items. And oh yeah, they were removing some of the wood that was left over from when I pulled up the old floors last year. I still had like some, what is that, particle board that had been left over. It was like too big to throw away with the regular trash, and it was just like sitting on the side of my driveway for a long time. Yeah, close to a year. But anyway, they came and they were moving that stuff out, and they saw that spider. It like went scurrying when they moved some of that wood, and then it went up onto my garage door, and they measured it, and it was like 4 inches across. And they couldn't believe it. But now imagine 12 inches. That's too much. Obi-Wan says they have dry communities up north, usually places with high Aboriginal populations. Oh. Huh. Are they against, are the Aborigines against drinking? I don't know what their culture's like, really. Jonathan Eaton says, I was traveling once and stopped at a motel for a night and didn't know it was a dry county. There's a microphone in front of that word. And then he had to drive 20 more miles just to get a drink. That sucks. Yeah. Because when you go into a dry county, yeah, it's a county. It's not just the little town you're in. It's like it's an entire county that's dry. That's crazy. I'm going to have to go inside now because... See Schloyer? I'm going to have to go inside because I'm starting to get eaten up. The mosquitoes have come for me. The mosquitoes have come home to roost. Go back in my temporary hoarder house. Pay no mind how absurd this is, Jonathan Eaton. You're new here, so you haven't got the backstory, but I'm in the process of refinishing my 102-year-old, no, 120-year-old. I had like mental dyslexia there for a second. 120-year-old hardwood floors. Oh, shit, he just zinged me. In reference to the spider, you know, I was like, imagine 12 inches. He's like, I handle that daily. He doesn't have to imagine it. I just got zinged, guys. Jonathan Eaton's got jokes. He's going to be the joke guy around here with his dirty jokes. Here are my floors. Obi-Wan's already seen this tonight, but I figure, hey, why not show Jonathan Eaton what I've been up to? Ripped up all the carpet. These floors looked awful, by the way, before I did this. Whoever had decided to cover these floors up, they paid absolutely no mind to the historic nature of this home. They just didn't care. They didn't care about the original wood. You know, there was paint, just paint splattered all over the place from when they had painted the walls. And then there were spray paint marks where they had like sprayed, you could tell they had spray painted doors and shit just right on the ground. You know, didn't put drop cloths down. So the process of sanding all this, man, it was really something. It was trying times in the neighborhood, but we're making the floors great again, and I couldn't be happier. So the wife and the kids are out of the house while I've been doing this work, because it's not really a good place to be right now. It's not very habitable for two small kids and my wife who's got to get her work done and such. So, you know. Hey, Proper Jeremy's here. What's up, buddy? We've got a new Gatorade tonight. I went with what is this? The Glacier Freeze? Is that what it's called? Hold on. Glacier Freeze, yeah. Glacier Freeze. Thanks, Jonathan. Jonathan, I don't know if you have met Proper Jeremy before. He says, hey, Proper Jeremy. So perhaps they know each other. That seems like a kind of greeting that you give to someone that you've seen before. Unless you're just really excited about meeting new people. You might be that type of person. So I'm going to put the rest of these right here. I've got an energy drink for the morning. This stuff, I've never had it before. Bang. Pina Colada. My wife brought me this earlier. It was too late when I got finished to have this for tonight because I'm going to try and go to sleep at a reasonable time. but I'll have that in the morning. And you know, someone on Twitter earlier today, they said, don't drink Bang. Stop buying Bang because the owner of the company donates his money to Donald Trump. So never drink Bang. And I was like, well, I guess I'll start buying Bang now. So that's how that goes for some people. When they tell you not to do something and then you're like, oh, actually, I'm going to do it because of that. So thanks. So it looks like they are new. Proper Jeremy and Jonathan Eaton seem to they're striking up a friendship for the first time here on my stream tonight. They did not know each other. They're just excited to make new friends. That's cool, guys. I fully support that. Oh, I'm going to turn this on. Does this ever worry you about fans? Do you see what's happening here? You see how it's kind of shaking a little bit? I'm always nervous that it's just going to fall out. It's going to fall off of the ceiling. It's not doing it too badly, but if you were in person, it looks worse. Oh, Proper Jeremy notices the door on the hat on my doorknob. Very perceptive bunch around here. Yep, there's my hat. There's my hat. Proper Jeremy says Bang will do the job. And Jonathan Eaton wants to know if Bang is any good. Well, Jonathan, it seems like you might want to ask Proper Jeremy, because I have not tried Bang yet. I'm going to have it tomorrow. I'll give you my full review after I have a chance to sip some of it down. The door on my hat knob. That's a new name for the male member. The old hat knob. Yeah. Yeah. Why don't you come on over and hang your hat right over here on my hat knob? It's nice and sturdy for you. Yeah, I was about to say it. My hat knob. Yeah. Hey, lady. Hey. I think your hair needs to breathe a little bit. Oh, you don't know where you're going to put your hat? Well, I have just the place. On my hat knob. So I'm going to... This looks nice. Don't you think it would be nice to take a dip and just dive into a pool of this? That'd be fun to set up sometime. I wonder if anyone's ever gotten to do that. Like a higher up, like an executive at Gatorade, at the Gatorade company. Who makes Gatorade? Distributed by the Gatorade company. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Do you think like one of the executives is like, well, I've got billions of dollars. That blue Gatorade. Samuel, would it be possible to prepare for me my swimming pool, but full of our glacier freeze? Yes, I mean Gatorade, the stuff that we sell. Could you do that? No, you don't have to run it by anyone else. I own this company. Yes, please. You think anything like that's happened? Yeah, I hope the employees don't do that before they bottle it. I think you'd be able to taste it, unfortunately. I mean, fortunately for us consumers. I feel like if the employees were bathing in Gatorade before it got shipped out, that we might notice. There'd probably be some floaties, you know, some odds and ends. in your bottle that you didn't really want there when you examined it. Some, I don't know, some hairs, yeah, you can imagine. Weird hairs, weird things you don't want to find in your drinks. You definitely see some of that if they were swimming around in it before it got bottled. So I think we're safe. But if I had the resources, if I had the money, and I could kind of set that up, I think it would be a fun thing to do. And then, of course, throw it all out when I was done. But just for a second, you probably wouldn't want to stay in there too long. You'd get really sticky. But if I could swim in a pool of Gatorade and then leave the Gatorade pool and then maybe jump, maybe you'd do it near the ocean. Then you could go jump in the ocean, and then once you're rinsed off of the Gatorade by the sea, then you can get out of the ocean. You can go to the, you walk over to the little shower they have by the parking lot, shower yourself off with regular water, and then jump into just a traditional swimming pool. I think that would be a good series to have happen. I would like to do that sometime. Obi-Wan says coaches get a shower of it whenever they win anything. Yeah, they do, but that's not the same, you know? That's just like, that's a quick splash. I'm talking, I want to get into the Gatorade pool and swim around. You know, you always, what do they do on cartoons, you know? For some reason, anytime they're swimming, they have to do the backstroke where they're spitting water up into the air. I'd be doing that. I'd be doing the backstroke, and I'd be taking in big gulps of Gatorade as I went, maybe spitting them out, maybe drinking them. I mean, it's just me in the pool. I'd want to rinse off. I'd be very clean when I got in, because the temptation to just gulp it up and drink it would be too strong if I was in the Gatorade pool. So I'd want to make sure that I was clean when I jumped in there, and not bringing. I wouldn't jump in like, if you would have seen me earlier tonight, perhaps the dirtiest I've ever been in my life, just covered head to toe in dust and sweat, and I was disgusting before I had a shower. I wouldn't go from that into the Gatorade pool. I would have to, like I said, clean up, make myself, to the point where I wouldn't be grossed out if I was splashing around and then took a drink. You'd have to do that. I feel like you would. Proper Jeremy said, sorry, I saw a spider. What were we talking about? Weird hairs, weird things swimming around in your drink? Yeah, like if the guys at the Gatorade company were bathing in the Gatorade before they went and sent it out, before it got bottled. Proper Jeremy says, oh dear, spiders. Jonathan Eaton wants to know if the spider was 12 inches. And Obi-Wan has dropped some links in here for anyone who's interested. He said, here's a video with 6 million views with a guy taking a bath in blue Gatorade. Is it just a regular bathtub? That doesn't seem like it would be 6 million views worthy if it's just a regular bathtub. If it was a full-size, like, Olympic swimming pool, that would be something to see. But just a guy in a bath. I mean, I remember watching an episode of Jerry Springer when I was younger, probably in elementary school. And there was a guy on there. No, I think it was in high school, actually. Sorry. Not elementary. It was in high school. I was confusing this episode of Springer with another one that I did see when I was in elementary school. With a gentleman called Mr. Ooh La La. But that's not what I'm thinking about right now. I was thinking about this guy on Springer. I saw this when I was in high school, and he liked to take a cream corn bath. He was one of these people who him and his wife got off by involving food in the bedroom. And they were both like morbidly obese, of course, and they did the whole thing. They were slathering each other in Crisco and literally filling up a bathtub with cream corn. And then the guy, kind of slumps down in it, and she continues to just ladle cream corn on top of him, smearing it into his chest and, dribbling it over his head and such. And he actually said, "There's nothing I love more than a cream corn bath." I was like, that's a strange thing to get into. That's a strange idea to have. You're at dinner and you start eating your cream corn, and maybe you drop a little bit on yourself. The spoon misses your mouth, and then one little spoonful of cream corn falls on your leg, and it's like, hold on a second. That, but over and over and over. Why don't we make a cream corn bath tonight? Sweetie, can you prepare the cream corn bath? That's what they did. But these people were for real, apparently. At least that's what they said. Obi-Wan says there are legends that Cleopatra bathed in donkey milk daily for her complexion. That wasn't milk. Proper Jeremy says 77 million views filling a pool full of Coca-Cola. A swimming pool? A full-size swimming pool full of Coca-Cola. I guess that would be fun, but, part of the appeal of blue Gatorade is, it's a tube pool. So again, not like a full-size Olympic swim. For some reason, I want it to be an Olympic swimming pool. But Coca-Cola just wouldn't look as enticing. It would look like a dirty river, probably. I don't know. I can't watch the video right now because I don't want to close out this program. But I would imagine it looks like a dirty, yucky river. It looks like something you wouldn't want to go swimming in. But this would look like some of those pictures you see of like the tropical setting. Where are those beaches where they've got like, they probably have them in multiple places, but maybe I'm thinking of Fiji. Is it Fiji where the water looks like this, and then they've got these little houses that are on, the house is like over the water. They've got like little docks that jut out from the beach, So if like past this line is the ocean, they've got a dock that runs the length here. You walk up, you get on the dock, and then additional docks kind of jut out over the water like so, going forward. And then at the end of each one, there's like a little hut, kind of. They have these huts that are standing over the water, and then you can go and stay in them and such. Where is that? Obi-Wan, his second link. Proper Jeremy says, on a scale from Cheerios to Fruit Loops, how cereal are you? Cheerios to Fruit Loops. Cheerios to Fruit Loops. How cereal am I? How cereal am I? It's a good question. I think I'm like, what am I? Maybe Lucky Charms. That seems like a good answer. I think that's how cereal I am. How cereal are you, Proper Jeremy? How cereal are you, Jonathan Eaton? How cereal are you, Obi-Wan? How cereal is whoever our fourth member is. There's someone else in here who's not accounted for. I know Proper Jeremy's here. I know... Oh, and they've gone. They've left. I scared them off by calling them out. Maybe next time. It's like trying to catch a Pokemon. I threw the Pokeball, and I was like, hey, who are you? And then they just left. That's too bad. Proper Jeremy now wants to know, on a scale from Dr. Pepper to Diet Mellow Yellow, how soda are you? Well, I'm definitely more soda than Diet Mellow Yellow. That sounds like about the weakest soda that I can conjure up in my imagination. But how soda am I? I would say that I am somewhere between Mexican Coke in the glass bottle and a can of RC Cola. Does that make sense? Is that good? Obi-Wan says I could be talking about lots of places. Fiji is one of them. I think it's Fiji. I think it's probably Fiji. I would like to go there sometime. It seems like it would be a nice, relaxing getaway. And truly a getaway. Because that's kind of my speed. That's what I've come to enjoy. When you talk about vacation, that's what I've come to enjoy. I don't want to run all over the place. Maybe one day. Like when I go to Florida for a convention with Jess, you know, usually I go to Orlando with her every year when she does MegaCon. And it's like, all right, one day of the convention and I'm good. And then I'll spend a lot of time in the hotel room. And then we've been following up Orlando with a trip to Anna Maria Island, which is very peaceful. There aren't many tourists. It's absolutely beautiful. Beautiful beaches. And very, very laid back. And it's like, that's what I look forward to. So if I could just go somewhere and not have to run all over the place to get to this and that destination, just to be in a nice place, to be unplugged, not doing a bunch of, I don't know, whatever your daily tasks are that you have to do when you're home, you know, everything you normally have to do. But that's my speed at this point. How about you? How do you feel about vacation? Do you like going out? Do you like having to bounce around? Are you the type of person who makes an itinerary? I don't like going on vacation with people who make itineraries. It really bothers me. Because it starts to feel more stressful than your everyday life that you hoped to kind of take a break from for however many days, or a week, or several weeks if you're really lucky and you can afford that. But these people who go out on vacation and they've got every single day just completely mapped out and like there's not a spare second that's unaccounted for, it's like, you're not going on vacation. That's not vacation to me. Proper Jeremy says Fiji water is delicious for water. And oh, Lethal Lightning's here. What's up, Lethal Lightning? It's been a while. How are ya? Now we're up to 4 people. See, I didn't ask. Lethal Lightning presented himself. I didn't have to ask about it. But Lethal Lightning does not think that Fiji water is delicious the way that Proper Jeremy does. And Proper Jeremy... Proper Jeremy says, Lethal, the adults are talking. He is insinuating that Lethal Lightning is not an adult and maybe should not be here. Maybe should be in bed. Because it'd be fairly late for a child to be up on the internet in a live stream. Lethal Lightning says, oh, in response to Proper Jeremy and him saying that the adults are talking, Lethal Lightning has said, exactly, Proper, so go sit in the corner and think about what you've done. So now kind of throwing it back at him, insinuating that Proper Jeremy is actually the munchkin in this group right now, the one who needs to go sit in the corner while the adults talk. And now Proper Jeremy's calling up Lethal Lightning's existence. He's calling it into question, telling him you're not real. So this is really escalating here. And, yeah. Proper Jeremy's saying that Australia is a myth. So first he said that Lethal Lightning is not real. Now he's calling the very country of Australia into question. The continent itself. So, Lethal Lightning says, "Hey all, still at work." And then he also says that Proper Jeremy's sex life is a myth. And they're really going back and forth. I mean, Proper Jeremy says Lethal Lightning's room is painted in mustard. Can you imagine that? A mustard room. Does anyone out there have a mustard room? I would not paint my room in mustard. That would probably attract bugs, wouldn't it? It would smell atrocious over time. I mean, it'd smell atrocious to begin with. Because mustard doesn't smell awful. But you wouldn't want a room full of it. You wouldn't want to walk into a room where people were burning mustard-scented candles, or using, what are those things called? Air wicks. The air wick. Mustard air wicks, or burning mustard incense. That wouldn't be good. And it would definitely smell like that if you had your room painted in mustard. So, yeah. Too bad. Proper Jeremy has been accused of being a wall licker. And Proper Jeremy has now accused Lethal Lightning of liking man booty. Man booty. And also that Lethal won't turn off his vibrator on live streams. That'd be very inconsiderate. You'd hear that buzzing in the background. Obi-Wan says, tasty though. What's tasty? What's tasty? The mustard walls or Lethal Lightning's vibrator? Which one's tastier? Maybe the vibrator is mustard flavored. Could that be? Could be a mustard flavored vibrator. Obi-Wan wants to know if we have KFC candles. I've heard about those. They make your house smell like fried chicken. I think that would get old really quickly. Do you agree? You know? It's like, I think you want your house to smell like fried chicken for about as long as the meal lasts. Or maybe meal prep through the duration of your meal. And then, of course, once the chicken's all cooled down and everyone's eaten their fill, and you put the leftovers away, it's like that smell kind of gradually dissipates. But imagine if it just lingered. That's what it would be like when you burn the KFC candle. I don't think anyone would want that. Maybe some people do, but I feel like if I went to your house and you were just burning the KFC candle, I'd be a little taken aback. I would expect there to be chicken somewhere. That's another thing. People come in, they smell KFC, and it's like, hey, you mind if I get a piece? Can I have a leg? You know? I'll take a thigh, whatever. And well, actually we don't have KFC. We don't have any chicken. Oh. It smells like chicken. What? Yeah, we just have a KFC candle. See how strange that is? It's a weird scenario when you run through it. Proper Jeremy is really pleading with Lethal Lightning to stop grave robbing. How about gravy robbing? That goes along with KFC. Did you ever see that sketch on Tim and Eric? The Gravy Robbers sketch, where you go to the restaurant and the whole gimmick is that you cover everything in gravy, but when you're eating, there are gravy robbers, guys in like the old white and black striped suits, with the mask, and they're kind of hiding around the restaurant, and they sneak up and try and steal the gravy from your table. I think it was Gravy Robbers. I believe that was it. Yeah. Lots of fighting going on here. Lethal Lightning and Proper Jeremy are really having it out in the chat. Maybe it'll lead to a celebrity boxing match. 2 e-celebs going at it. I would pay for it. I'd pay to watch it. Or donate. Do it on a live stream. Can we hook that up? Proper Jeremy and Lethal Lightning, would you guys box each other in an e-celebrity boxing match? Obi-Wan says they're flirting, not fighting. Well, call it what you want to. But I'm saying I think there might be some big money in a boxing match. People don't do those enough anymore. Remember back when the guy from somethingawful.com fought, what's his name? Is it Uwe Boll? I don't know how you say his name. Proper Jeremy says he would if they drank beer. Lethal would lose. He has no real alcohol tolerance. So what, would it be a boxing match where you both have to get drunk beforehand? Is that what we're talking about? A drunken boxing match. Drunken fighting. That'd be a good spin on combat sports. Throw 2 dudes in the cage. Make sure they're both good and drunk. I guess, yeah, yeah. Make them drink however many drinks by their weight. So you'd still have weight classes, but each weight class would have a different amount of alcohol they would have to consume before they go in and start fighting. That would be fun. That would be a fun thing. Maybe someone should get on that. You can have it. I'm not going to put that together, but I think it's a fantastic $1 million, possibly $1 billion idea. And I like watching fights. I wouldn't want to set them up. I wouldn't want to go through the trouble. So if you're out there and you're like, hey, that sounds like a lot of fun, I think people would watch that. Run with it, man. You don't even have to credit me for it. I'll always have this stream that I can pull up if I need to verify. To be like, that drunken fighting championship that everyone loves? Yeah, I came up with that on a live stream. And then people are like, bullshit. I'd be like, no, listen, here it is. And then be like, oh, damn. How much you get paid for that? Nothing. I told them they could have it. It was a gift. Just a creative gift. Jonathan Eaton says Lethal would KO Proper in the first round. Oh, damn. Picking sides. Proper Jeremy says Lethal drinks Jim Beam out of a can of 5% alcohol. That's as hard as he goes. Yeah. Maybe, what's he, pounding wine coolers? How many wine coolers do you think you could drink in one sitting? I feel like you'd get sick from the sugar before you'd get sick from the actual alcohol content. But no one drinks wine coolers anymore. I don't even see those out. Those were really big in the 90s. Wine coolers and Zimas. Zima came back for a little bit, like last year, and then it just quietly faded away again. Lethal Lightning says Proper Jeremy has the tolerance of a teen girl that wants to sleep with her boyfriend, but then wants to blame the alcohol. Yeah. Obi-Wan says, I've only ever seen Lethal drink Han Super Dry. Yuck. Han Super Dry. I've never even heard of that. Lethal says Proper drinks petty water. And Lethal says that Hans is good. I don't know what that is. Proper Jeremy's girlfriend's calling. Good night, fellas, he says. Alright, see you later. Lethal says Proper is calling a phone sex line. No, that's another blast from the past. If you, I feel like if you grew up in like the 80s or 90s, and then I guess maybe a little bit in the like early 2000s, if you turn on the TV about this time of night, it's like every other commercial was for a sex hotline. I mean, it's like, I guess there was no internet at the time. So, or there was, but it wasn't as prominent as it is now. But can you imagine? Can you imagine being the guy who calls up the phone sex hotline? That's a funny concept. That's a really funny concept to think about. That they're just women, you know, and they would go to work. Their job would be to like go to a call center and just have phone sex with really pathetic guys all day, really. It's not like they're only open at night. But that's when all their advertisements were on, so you can imagine a good deal of business would be coming through in the late hours. That would be a strange thing to do, just to call up someone and have phone sex. I can't wait to get off work and go home and call my sex hotline that I call. Just being that guy who's resigned yourself. This guy's just resigned himself to just getting off work, going home, maybe cracks open a beer, gets a little loosened up, and then he's going to call the sex hotline. I'm glad I'm not that guy. Maybe you are. Maybe you are, and maybe you know something that I'll never know. Because I'm not going to be the phone sex hotline guy. But maybe you are. And maybe you know something that I don't. Maybe you think that I'm missing out. Proper Jeremy, if you're watching this later, if you really did get off this stream to go and call the sex hotline, you know, you can tell us. I think it's silly, but I accept you. I accept anyone who wants to use the sex hotline. Alright, Lethal Lightning says I should get back to work. Uru lads. And Obi-Wan says, you mean goon bags. Still all the rage over here. Sorry, I didn't know what a wine cooler was. Ignore me. Oh, you never heard of wine coolers? Yeah, they were huge back in the 90s. Really like a young lady's drink more than anything. College party girls. High school girls that shouldn't be drinking, you know. Kind of the way that Smirnoff became, I guess, when I got into that party age. When I was in high school, everyone was drinking Smirnoff. But I feel like the generation before me, you know, like my mom and my aunts and uncles, well, not uncles, I don't think my uncle drank wine coolers. I hope he didn't. But they would have been drinking wine coolers at parties. Jonathan Eaton says Boone's Farm. Yeah, well, ugh. God, that's another one where you just get sick on the sugar. I used to work at a drive-through liquor store, and yeah, I sold a lot of Boone's Farm, sold a lot of Mad Dog. That stuff just, it always looked like it was, the people who would come through and get Boone's Farm just looked like they were up to no good, and the drink looked like it was up to no good too. It was like, this person's up to something, but this bottle of Boone's Farm has a motive of its own. And that motive is that it wants to make this person throw up before the end of the night. And it's probably going to work. Because the sugar content is too damn high. Too much. All right. Okay, guys. Well, this I feel rather quickly. Wait, hold on. Obi-Wan says, "Do you have cask wine though? It's cheap wine in a 1-gallon bladder." Yeah, we call it a box of wine. Yeah. My mom always had that in the fridge growing up. She would drink the white Zinfandel. She still does. She's always been about the white Zin in the box. Come home from work and she would have her glass of wine chilled from the boxed wine container in the fridge. Yeah, but you call it cask wine, I guess. Obi-Wan. Cask wine. I hadn't heard that before. All right. I feel like this hour and a half really kind of flew by, guys. Thanks for hanging out with me. I can't wait to get my work done so I can put my computer back together and start making some fun videos again. I feel like I've got a new resolve to make some good quality videos. Start building up this project that I'm working on. You know, start doing just the tiniest bit of advertising, just the tiniest bit of buzz building. Get people talking just a little bit, or maybe if they're not even talking, just to get them slightly intrigued would be good. Obi-Wan says, "Okay, wasn't sure. It's an Aussie invention anyway. Generally just called a goon bag." Okay. All right. Well, I'll see ya, Jonathan. Thank you for your good luck wishes. I am hoping to have them completely done tomorrow. So we'll see how that goes. I'll probably be back for an update at some point late tomorrow night. So if you're around, feel free to hop on in the stream and hang out for a bit. So thanks for joining, and hope to see you guys soon. Be back tomorrow with another video, Lord willing, and until then, y'all take care. All right, bye-bye.